since before the pandemic is because we've not had all of our boats in the water. One vessel, for example, the Wenatchee, one of our larger vessels, has been out of service in order to convert to be a hybrid electric engine. We have 2 more vessels slated for conversion over the next several years, which would also take them out of the water during that time. Today I'm announcing that we are delaying the hybrid electric conversion for those remaining 2 state ferries. We will revisit the timing for those vessels after the World Cup in 2026. What this means is that when the Wenatchee comes back into service, which we anticipate to be in June, we will then have 18 vessels in the water, the number necessary to fully restore domestic service for the first time since 2019. One thing I just will note is 18 vessels in the water, as I understand from our team. That means we would have 21 vessels in total at any moment in time. Essentially, as I understand the system, the goal is 18 vessels in the water, but 3 are going through maintenance of various kinds. That's just a part of it at any moment in time. So again, full domestic service for the first time since 2019, which will mean 18 vessels operating in the water, 3 going through their routine maintenance during that time. This has, of course, been a primary goal for my administration since day one. As part of my commitment to improving our ferries, I'm also announcing that we're elevating Steve Nevy, who you know to my right, and you'll be hearing from Steve in a few moments. We're elevating his position from Assistant Secretary for the Washington State Ferries Division to Deputy Transportation Secretary. As I promised during my campaign, Steve will be a member and is now a member of my cabinet. So he's at my cabinet meetings. Those are weekly meetings with the full cabinet. He is there and fully participating. I wanted that to be the case so that I'm getting direct reports from the folks who are operating our ferries, because we've had a crisis for a number of years. And as governor, I want to make sure I'm hearing directly from Steve and the team about how we're doing in making progress to address this important issue. I'm also joined by, and you'll be hearing from Transportation Secretary Julie Meredith. She'll be speaking directly after me. You'll then hear from Steve, and then we're just especially pleased and thankful that the Mayor of Bremerton, Greg Wheeler, has taken the time from his very busy schedule to join us today. He's just been a real passionate advocate for improving our ferry service for all sorts of obvious reasons with the community that he represents so well. All the 4 of us will speak, and then we'll be happy to take any questions that you have. So the Wenatchee is, of course, one of our largest ferries, and we're proud that's going to be Washington's first hybrid electric ferry. Again, we anticipate that early this summer in June. What used to be one of our fleet's biggest polluters will soon be our cleanest ferry, providing a model for the future of clean transportation. At the same time, of course, we are going to delay the conversion of the other 2 large ferries. I made that decision to delay that conversion for a very simple reason, and that is to restore our service, our domestic service, to pre-pandemic levels. That is the North Star for my decision making as we move forward on addressing the crisis that we're facing. As you know, the Wenatchee took considerably longer to make this conversion than we anticipated. I think the original anticipation was about a year. It's going to take about 22 months. Given what we know about how long it takes to convert these vessels, we know the current schedule will take them out of the water for major upcoming events like the World Cup. We don't want that to happen. So the 2 next vessels up for conversion are estimated to take 12 to 16 months. We think we can improve the timing on that when the time is right. Those vessels, a class known as the Jumbo Mark II, are the largest in our fleet, and they serve 2 of our busiest routes. The increase in demand caused by these major events will, of course, put additional stress on an already strained system. In other words, that would just be the wrong time to go forward with having our biggest, busiest vessels out of service over the next couple of years. Reducing Washington's carbon footprint is important to the people of the state, and it is certainly important to me. It's a worthy investment, and I'm excited about the Wenatchee. But right now, we have to balance a lot of priorities. And for me, right now, the priority is restoring our service to full domestic service as we had back in 2019. I want to talk briefly, by the way, about what it means when we get back to full service. So just to emphasize this, 18 vessels will be in the water this summer. 3 vessels will, from time to time, be in routine maintenance. And so we're excited about the fact that sometime this summer, we'll be restored back to that level. I also want to add, looking forward, we're in the process of procuring up to 5 new hybrid electric vessels. You're no doubt very familiar with this process. The ferries will open bids from prospective shipbuilders in early April. We hope to sign a contract with at least one successful bidder by June, and we hope to see those boats, as a result of that process, in the water as early as 2029. Those new vessels will, of course, replace existing vessels that need to be retired in the coming years. And I've had extensive briefing from the team about, we have an aging fleet. That's a reality, and the team's done an amazing job, and our crew does an amazing job keeping those vessels going while we're going through this challenging time. But we need new vessels, and that's the timing we anticipate. After that, looking even more long-term to lay it out, we'll need to replace another 11 vessels before 2040 to keep our fleet modern and operating at full capacity. So I am, of course, concerned about making sure we're meeting those goals going forward. In other words, we have some short-term needs. We're addressing those with decisions now on delaying conversion, but also we're very mindful looking long-term when someone else is presumably in my job in the future about maintaining our pace to bring in new vessels and replace our aging fleet. So that's why today I've also directed the Washington State Ferries to explore innovative options for procuring new vessels faster. We just need more options on the table. Among those options is leasing with the goal of purchasing the boats down the road. So right now, Steve and the entire team is exploring cost estimates for lease to purchase. By June 1, we'll have an update on those efforts, as well as our efforts to procure the 5 new hybrid electric vehicles. Again, we need options. We need options. I'm looking forward to working with our state legislature to explore solutions that we have not explored before to get new vessels in the water as quickly as possible. There is one more thing I want to add before I turn this over to Julie, and that is another key challenge that we've had is, of course, that has contributed to the reduction in service over the years is staffing. That's been a huge challenge for us. That's been well documented. We need a skilled, trained crew to operate our vessels. They are literally the backbone of our system. We don't have a system without them and their hard work. So one thing I want to make very clear is that, of course, we have some budget challenges as a state, which you're very familiar with. But any budget that I sign must honor and maintain competitive collective bargaining agreements that have been bargained, okay, that have been put together. Those collective bargaining agreements include over $28 million in compensation for all ferry workers. So I want to be clear, that has got to be a part of the budget that I sign. We've got to have that to maintain the service. We've got additional vessels, we're getting to pre-pandemic levels, but we need to support the crew that is the backbone of our system and make sure that they are compensated fairly for the very important work that we do. So with that, I'm going to turn first to Julie, and then again you'll hear from Steve, and then you'll hear from the mayor. And I really appreciate all 3 of them being here as well. Thank you so much.